AI has saved me 10 plus hours per week. AI has greatly improved my productivity. I used to work 8 hours per week, but only 4 hours now. AI knows anything. AI builds this and that for me. AI is so powerful, so amazing. Hold on, I get it, I agree with you. I use AI 24/7, 365. Cloud AI has collected all my brilliant and silly requests, from gathering my daily calories and nutrition consumption statistics to plan my diets, to answering things like, what if every Chinese people give me 1 RMB, so I will become billionaire overnight? That's my daydream. And I work as data engineer. GitHub Copilot builds a data pipeline. I also vibe code the whole software with Cursor as my side hustle. There are probably not so many of you who have benefited from using LLMs and AI agents more than I do, but I want to tell you something unpopular. Social media says that AI has done the heavy lifting in the workflow, but sometimes I feel more stressed. It constantly tells you that AI has significantly reduced repetitive routine tasks, but I feel things are getting more repetitive. Sometimes I even miss the old days when I write every single line of the code without AI assistant. That sense of full control, moments of mental sparks, and on top of that, the state of flow. So I want to share with you the downside of using AI that no one has really talked about. Okay. First, let's recall how your daily workflow looks like without so many AI tools involved. Take myself as an example. These are typical tasks I did on a daily basis as data engineer. Daily meetings with my team and stakeholders, replying emails, writing SQL queries, extracting data, some data analysis in Excel, coding, writing documentation and presentation. This is how a healthy workflow should look like, because there's diversity and balance. You have creative types of tasks. Some tasks are more mentally challenging, as they need a lot of reasoning and the use of logic. Some are repetitive. Some require you to have face-to-face communication with other colleagues. It feels like you are quite occupied, but none of these tasks take a dominant position in your workflow. Maybe 30% of coding, 30% of meetings and email exchanges, and the rest is about documentation, presentation, and planning. It's diverse enough for you to develop multiple skills. It's also balanced enough for you to do free switch once you are exhausted for one single task. But now, AI tools are absorbing diversity from your workflow. Before AI adoption, to make good presentation, you must think about if every slide is designed in a visually attractive and comprehensive way. You must consider the layout, which color to use, and where to present statistics. It's creative. But now, AI tools can one-shot the whole presentation with clear instructions from you. Just in a minute, slides are made. Coding involves lots of logical thinking, but if you're also doing the tech job, you've probably stopped writing code yourself. Drafting SQL query gives us way to telling AI which attributes and tables you want to use. Writing Python code is replaced by endless communication back and forth between you and AI agents. Even basic data analysis in Excel can be done by embedded Microsoft Copilot. Just by telling it your requirements, you will see it picking over your screen, automatically writing Excel formulas and editing each cell. You may not even want to read long emails. Just asking Gemini to write summaries would make your life way easier. When AI is taking over your workflow, all your previously developed skill sets are no longer relevant. The only thing you are doing on a daily basis is prompting. Yes, you are prompting every day. You write prompts in one office software, then you keep writing prompts when you switch to another. Your workflow becomes monotonous and tedious because AI tools have killed the diversity. That's doing repetitive things over and over again, but just in a new way. And it feels like going to the gym, but only working on the same group of muscles every day. But there's even a worse scenario. AI not only takes away diversity, but also balancing the workflow. If you think about it, manual and repetitive types of work can be your mental buffer because they consume much fewer cognitive resources than tasks such as coding. You don't need to invest that much effort into replying someone's email or making a quick pivot table in Excel. So if you're exhausted by difficult tasks, switching to these manual and repetitive things can be a form of relaxation. But as they're being distilled away by AI adoption, the only tasks left in the workflow are those tasks that are cognitively and mentally demanding. They eventually take up disproportionately large part of your workflow, and that's lots of burden on your mental well-being. Take myself as an example. I stopped writing SQL code, documentations, and all the other repetitive stuff, but now I almost spent over 80% of my working hours vibe coding. This number was only 30% in the past. And the vibe coding is not as easy as many people claim on social media, because instructing AI agents to produce outputs you want requires you to give clear instruction and request step by step, set clear boundaries, provide additional context, and review the code from AI agents. You don't just vibe code standalone Python functions and click accept button mindlessly. You set up a safe environment for AI agents to code the whole product while supervising agents' behavior. For each step you go, you need to stay quite focused to make sure you know exactly what you are doing and what AI agents are generating. Otherwise, it would be like a vague in, vague out, garbage in, and a garbage out. This is a much more mentally exhausting than expected. As I mentioned in the beginning that I'm developing the whole software through vibe coding, I want to give you a quick overview of things that I usually do with AI agents in Cursor. I set up folder structure so that everything is neatly organized. I also write lots of cursor roles in a markdown file called agents. For example, all buttons in the software should look consistent, but you don't want to tell this to agents over and over again in the chat window, so you keep it as cursor rule, which is always applied. Then, the most important part is planning. I usually write down what I want to achieve, all functions I want to build step by step, what input data they require, and how the output should look like. So once it's finished, I dump this markdown file to the chat window and just type execute plan 11. Then I move into reviewing all the code generated by AI agents to check if there is something working against business logics, if each function only takes a single responsibility, etc, etc. I pretty much do the same thing at work, but with GitHub Copilot. I remember one day I got multiple new functionalities to build in the pipeline, so I walked in this vibe coding loop over and over again, prompting everything, then reviewing everything. The amount of workload would usually take me 2 days. I did finish within 6 hours. Then I could just go home, but I felt much more exhausted than before. The day after work, I had a bad headache, and it took me 1 hour of walking to recover. So it's like the total amount of mental pressure was evenly distributed into 2 days in the past without AI agents. But now it's condensed into just 6 hours. Your working hours are indeed 3 times shorter, but within your working hours, things may also get 3 times more intense. It feels like doing 20 squats in 1 minute before, but now you need to squeeze everything just into 20 seconds. That may not be a big problem if you're a senior in your role, but if you're a junior, I think it's a really bad thing for your career development. Imagine you are a junior developer. No matter it's data scientist or software engineer, AI-assisted coding tools like Cloud Code do all the coding stuff for you, so you lose the chance to become a real experienced programmer who has sharp intuition to know if things are working properly or if there's a hidden security vulnerability in the code base. You work up to this level only through writing code yourself from 0 to 1 in real projects and making countless mistakes. You do this day in and day out, then you will finally get to know the features of a language well, why certain ways are more efficient than others, why hard coding is a terrible idea, etc, etc. The little effort you invest every day will have a compounding effect on your coding capabilities in the future. That's how you develop good judgment and taste. But these AI-assisted coding tools absorb this experience accumulation, so without enough hands-on experience, you can't really judge the quality of the code from AI, and you will more likely to click accept the button mindlessly whenever AI returns code snippets from the chat panel. There's a research showing that AI coding tools slow down experienced developers by 19% compared to developers without being given these tools. So overall, that's why I sometimes really miss the old days when I coded the whole project from scratch purely by myself. Last week, I was reviewing every code snippet in the pipeline. Then I found a few lines of code being hard-coded. I didn't just open the AI chat panel and ask GitHub Copilot to solve it. I decided to do it myself. So I was trying around different solutions and compare which one is most robust and dynamic. Then I really feel the release of a dopamine. You know, it feels like you've lived on delivery food for so long, then suddenly somebody cooks you a healthy home meal. So AI coding tools do improve your productivity at the expense of your coding skills, but I'm afraid to tell you this is still not the worst case scenario. In the past, when I told the stakeholders I need around 2 weeks to deliver something, I also set their expectation in the correct place. They really came to me me asking for more or expected me to finish the task much earlier before the deadline. But as AI coding tools have significantly sped up the process, they raise their expectation as well. Instead of asking if 1 week works for me, they may be just like, oh, I guess 2 days is enough. Once they know you can deliver things much faster with help from AI tools, perhaps more tasks are in the queue waiting for you. And in fact, whether this will happen or not depends on which type of a society AI has embedded in. I'm really grateful that I live in Europe, because this is not a society that constantly chases productivity and high speed of growth. So in this kind of a social structure, corporations tend to not redistribute your time and energy saved by AI to new tasks in order to generate more profits. You get what I said when you look at the GDP growth rate of EU countries. But on the other hand, when AI is widely used in society that is obsessed with high productivity and efficiency, like China, it's a nightmare for people working in corporations, because capitalism won't tolerate any spare labor resources that are not yet reallocated into production. My cousin is working for ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok. Is also the owner of Cdance, the video generation model that went viral recently. She told me that AI tools do have automated lots of manual things, but management always finds new projects to assign, because when the productivity is up, the company usually wants to expand the market further, then employees just end up like a hamster running endlessly in a wheel without any way out. Now, before you close this video and swear off AI forever, let me be clear about something. Everything I've said comes from my own experience and my own feelings. I'm just data engineer sitting in Warsaw, and I'm not claiming this is a universal truth for everyone. Maybe you've used the same tools and feel none of this. That's completely fine. And I don't want to leave you with bleak picture like, oh great, so AI makes my coding skills worse, steals the balance from my workflow, and hands all my saved time back to my boss, so I can suffer more. That's not the key takeaway I want you to walk away with, because if I zoom out, the honest truth is that AI has massively boosted our productivity and efficiency, and that is genuinely a good thing. I'm not trading it away. I use it every single day, and I'm not going to stop. I think what I'm really describing is a growing pain of a transition. Every revolution has one. When the Industrial Revolution replaced craftsmen with machines, an entire generation felt lost, de-skilled, and squeezed. When computers arrived, people say the same thing we're seeing right now. These painful periods are real, but they don't last forever, because humans are remarkably good at one thing: adapting. We rebuild the balance, we find new kinds of meaningful work, we figure out where the machine ends and where we begin. So maybe everything I've talked about today is a real problem right now, but right now is a key phrase. 10 years from now, I suspect a lot of this won't be a problem at all. We will have built new habits, new boundaries, new ways of working that make today's growing pains look crimped. The discomfort I feel isn't a reason to reject AI. It's just a feeling of standing at the very beginning of something before we've all figured out how to live with it. And honestly, there's something kind of exciting about being here this early, headache and all.